All right, people. I woke up listening to President Trump's latest press conference vis-a-vis the US-Iran war. A lot of people are worried and a lot of people are celebrating. The pro-Islamic regime people are celebrating, saying this is victory. America could not topple the regime. We have won. And a lot of Iranian people who are anti-regime, they're thinking, has Trump abandoned us? So, as always, with Trump, you never know what's actually happening. Okay. Anyone who claims to know that they understand what's happening or they know what Trump is going to do next, they obviously don't know Trump. I also don't know anything. But there are a few possibilities that I want to run by you so we can better understand what could happen. So let's just start from the top. Trump had 3 stated objectives: denuclearize Iran, make sure Iran can never have nuclear capabilities; remove Iran's ballistic missile capabilities or significantly reduce it to the point where it's no longer a threat to Israel and Europe. Number 3, make the Islamic regime stop supporting its proxies like Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. The icing on the cake would have been maybe we'll weaken the regime so much that the Iranian people will take control of their destiny and the regime will be toppled. Trump initially thought that this can be achieved in 3 to 4 weeks. We are nearing 4 weeks now, and it looks like it hasn't happened yet. Now, what did Trump say? Trump said that he is talking to someone from inside the regime who he believes he can work with. And as a token of goodwill gesture, they have sent him a present.
Do you think I trust them? I don't trust them.
Then why bother talking to them?
Because they're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. And it was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people.
Is that nuclear related?
No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related. And it was a very nice thing they did. But what it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people. Because, you don't know, because the leadership was killed, all gone. Khomeini, all gone, as the expression goes, the past supreme leader. And then the new supreme leader was racked up, at a minimum racked up pretty good, and everyone else was gone. And then many of the people in the third tier are gone. But we're dealing with a group of people that I think turn out, and the present, the gift they made to us was very significant, and they said they were going to do it, and it happened, and they're the only ones that could have done it.
Now, he hasn't said who those people are, and he has said that the gift is Iranian oil related. So what could that be? Now, let's take a step back again. Trump understands that if he leaves the Islamic regime intact, then it is going to be the worst outcome than it was even before the war, because a wounded animal is much more dangerous than a healthy animal, much less an enemy like Mujtaba Khamenei, who is known to be even more extreme than his father. He has also lost his family members, his father, his children, his wife or wives, I don't know how many. So leaving that guy in charge is not a good idea. So President Trump understands that. So who is he leaving in charge? We don't know that. I guess we'll find out. Now, there's another possibility. Since there is a lot of pressure from world leaders that the longer the Strait of Hormuz stays closed, the closer we get to a global recession. Nobody wants that. Even President Trump doesn't want that. This is why he initially thought that the war could be over within 4 weeks. We'll go in, we'll smash things up, we'll decapitate the leadership, and then we're going to have a new government in Iran which will be friendly to the United States and the West. But that didn't happen. So he might wind this war up. A lot of people feared he may abandon everything and declare victory and go back to America. That is a possibility, but as I said, Trump is aware that leaving these people in charge is going to be much worse for America and its allies, even more so than before.
We've won this. This war has been won. The only one that likes to keep it going is the fake news. I mean, the New York Times, you read the New York Times, it's like we're not winning a war where they have no Navy and they have no Air Force and they have no nothing. And we literally have planes flying over Tehran and other parts of their country, they can't do a thing about it. For instance, if I want to take down that power plant, that very big, powerful power plant, they can't do a thing about it. It's like, take me. That's all they can do.
And obviously, we're forgetting the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Some people are saying that either they encouraged or at least went along with Trump's plan to try to topple the regime in Iran. They have paid a heavy price. They've been attacked by the Islamic regime. How will they live in the Middle East where a more radical cleric is running Iran? How the UAE is going to take it? And let me remind you, the Islamic Republic of Iran has attacked the UAE significantly more than it has attacked Israel. So how are they going to take this new development? Are they going to live side by side with a more radical cleric? And there's another elephant in the room, which is Israel. Israel was going to attack the Islamic Republic of Iran anyway, because on paper, this was the best time to attack the Islamic regime. We were seeing protests on a scale that has never been witnessed before. And then to crush those protests, the Islamic regime killed 30 to 40,000 of its own people. Israel knows a lot more about the Islamic Republic than other countries. They have thousands of spies in Iran. So in their calculations, it was the best time to attack Iran. And they were going to do that regardless of US's support. Israel knows that if they leave this regime in charge of Iran, then their life is going to be much tougher than it was before this war started. I don't think Israel would stop bombing the Islamic regime. I think they still have a lot of Mossad operatives in Iran. Of course, because of high security, those operations would have been wound down. And that's why we're not seeing as many assassinations as we saw in Hezbollah or at the start of the war. But the moment the Islamic regime drops its guard and starts holding out more meetings, I think Israel would go for those targets. So it's not entirely in Trump's hands either, especially when we know that Marco Rubio has already said that we were kind of dragged into this because Israel was going to attack Iran anyway. So if Israel was going to attack Iran anyway, and the US was not willing to do it, then it means the US cannot stop Israel from attacking Iran. Now, if you remember the 12-day war, when Trump called for a ceasefire, Israel wanted to keep going, and Israel kept bombing the Islamic regime. And if you remember, that was the only time when Trump actually said, oh, they don't know what the F is going on. He dropped the F-bomb.
That have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
He was clearly frustrated with Benjamin Netanyahu because he wanted to keep going. But at that point, somehow Trump obviously used the American influence and stopped Netanyahu from continuing the war. Is he going to be able to do it this time round? I think stakes are even higher for Israel. As I said, if this regime stays in power, life for ordinary Israelis is going to be much, much tougher. So if President Trump says, okay, we have won, we have severely degraded the Navy, the Air Force, we are going back, we won. And here are the people we're going to make a deal with. Now, we don't know who these people are, but some people are saying that there is a possibility that there are some strong defections within the IRGC, and some people within the IRGC might be going over the head of the radical ones and willing to make a deal with President Trump. Now, let me remind you again, Trump said that we are talking to people who have sent us a gift as a goodwill gesture. So what could that oil-related gift be? A lot of people are suggesting that U.S. Marines are preparing for an amphibious attack on Kharg Island. As you guys know, 90% of Iran's oil goes through there. A lot of people are saying that U.S. will storm Kharg Island as soon as stock markets close on Friday evening. And then they will take over Kharg Island straight away. And when the stock market opens on Monday, things would have settled down a little bit, so there wouldn't be a mass hysteria. Now, it's pure conjecture and assumption on my part. I am thinking some people from within the IRGC might have gone over Mustafa Khamenei's head and made a deal with President Trump. And that gift might be that we're going to let you storm the island and we're not going to attack you. I am hoping it is that. I am hoping that there are mass defections within the regime. I'm hoping that someone from within the regime is betraying Mujtaba Khamenei. But as I said, it is equally plausible for Trump to be declaring victory, wiping his hands clean and going back because he doesn't want a global recession. We don't know what Macron is telling President Trump. We don't know what Merz and Keir Starmer and the Japanese Prime Minister and even Anthony Albanese. We don't know what all these people are saying. We in Australia, we are staring at a massive fuel crisis in Australia. So I don't know what these world leaders are telling President Trump, or it could be all a bluff. This could be a bluff. Some pro-Islamic regime skeptics are saying that every time Trump promised to make a deal, he bombed the Islamic regime. He did that in that 12-day war. He gave them a week's deadline, and within 2 days, he bombed Fordo. At the start of this war as well, he was still giving them time. He was pretending that we are negotiating, negotiations are going well, and then boom, then he decapitated the Islamic regime's entire leadership. And now he's saying that, okay, we are working towards a ceasefire. There's a 15-point peace plan, which, by the way, is still the same. Iran must denuclearize itself and guarantee that they're not going to make any nuclear weapons. They need to stop supporting their proxies and severely degrade their ballistic program. These demands have always been there. So if the Islamic regime has accepted these demands now, then what was the point of going to war? In that case, the Islamic Republic has lost. How are they going to save face? So anyway, my point is all of this confusion is there on purpose because I don't think it's over. I don't think it's as simple as Trump is packing up and going back. If you're thinking that, then maybe that's what he wants you to think. And more importantly, that's what he wants the Islamic Republic to think. And one more point I wanted to make. Yes, I understand Trump doesn't like wars. He wants economies to grow. He doesn't want people to die. But there is something slightly different about Trump this time around. He is also hungry for leaving a good legacy. I think he genuinely wants to be seen by future generations as one of the greatest presidents of all time. And I think this is the reason why he jumped into this war. He thought that he can take out the biggest migrant from the Middle East, i.e. the Islamic Republic of Iran, and maybe bring about peace in the Middle East. That is definitely a worth pursuing legacy. And then a lot of Iranian people were sucking up to him, were appealing to him, naming streets after him, singing songs, Trump dance. A lot of these things were happening, which we know Trump likes. So he wants a good legacy. He understands that in the short term, there is a price to pay. How much price he's willing to pay, we don't know. As I said initially, he probably thought that within 4 weeks, the war will be over and we'll win. Now, that hasn't happened. Does that mean this is it? This is the most he was willing to give? Like, hey, Iranian people, I tried, but it didn't work out. Sorry, bad luck. I got to make a deal with someone and end this chapter. That is also possible. Everyone is as confused as I am, but these possibilities are all on the table. What does my heart say? Well, my heart says that he is bluffing because I do want Iran to be liberated. And again, how is he going to stop Israel? As soon as there is ceasefire, sooner or later, the IRGC leadership is going to come out. They're going to come out of their bunkers. And as soon as they come out, I have a feeling Israel is going to take them out. So I don't think it's over. I think this is a bluff, but who knows?